My neighbor Sam has always been a bit of a mystery. He's single, charming, and has a smile that could light up the whole block. He lives just across the street, and I often see him coming and going in his vintage car, always looking like he's up to something interesting. This evening, just as I was winding down after work, I noticed him walking toward my house. I wondered what was up as he came right up to my door and knocked. When I opened the door, he grinned and said, "Hey, I just got home and realized it's the perfect night to let loose, have a few drinks, and really enjoy myself. Are you free?" I couldn't help but smile at the invitation. "Absolutely," I replied. "Count me in." "Awesome," he said. "Could you take care of my cat for me?" Little Johnny, just 6 years old, came home from school looking a bit red in the face. He had his very first family planning lesson that day, and his mom couldn't wait to hear all about it. "How did it go, Johnny?" she asked, eager for the details. Johnny sighed dramatically. "I was so embarrassed, Mom," he said. "Oh dear," she replied, trying not to laugh. "Why was that?" "Well, Annie from across the street says babies come from storks. Sally, who lives next door, says you can just buy babies at the orphanage. And Timmy from my class says you get babies at the hospital." His mom chuckled. "But that's nothing to be embarrassed about, is it?" Johnny sighed again, this time with a touch of exasperation. "No, Mom, but I didn't have the heart to tell them that you and Dad were so broke you had to make me yourselves." A man tried to board an overly packed bus, only to be pushed back by the people inside. "There's no room," they exclaimed. "It's full up." "But you have to let me on," the man protested. "Oh yeah? And why's that?" one of the passengers shot back. "Because I'm the driver," the man replied. The fancy watch and heavy suitcases Jake was lugging 2 massive suitcases through a bustling bus station when a stranger approached him. "Got the time?" the stranger asked. With a weary sigh, Jake set down his bags, glanced at his wrist, and replied, "It's 5:45. The stranger's eyes widened. "Wow, that's some impressive watch you have there." Jake brightened up a bit and said, "Oh, you haven't seen anything yet." He tapped a button, and suddenly the display showed the time in every time zone around the world. Another button, and a voice announced, "The time is 6:11. Jake explained, "It even uses different regional accents for each city. And the display? Unbelievably sharp, right? The voice quality is incredible, too." The stranger was awestruck. "But wait, there's more," Jake said with a grin, tapping another button. A miniature map of New York City appeared, complete with a flashing dot marking their location via satellite. "See? Real-time location tracking." "I have to buy this watch," the stranger exclaimed. Jake shook his head. "Oh, it's not for sale, still working out some bugs, but check this out." He proceeded to show off the watch's FM radio, a sonar device measuring up to 125 meters, a pager with a thermal printout, and even a voice recorder with enough space to store 300 full-length audiobooks. The stranger was sold. "I don't care. I need this watch. I'll pay you $1,000. No, you don't understand," Jake replied, shaking his head. $5,000, the stranger insisted. Jake hesitated. "Fine, $15,000. The stranger whipped out his checkbook and started writing, his hand shaking with excitement. Jake thought it over. He had only invested about $8,500 into the watch, and with $15,000, he could build another one and maybe even start mass production. The stranger thrust the check into his hand, sealing the deal. "All right, it's yours," Jake said, handing over the watch. The stranger practically skipped away in excitement, but Jake called after him. "Hey, don't forget your batteries." He pointed to the 2 massive suitcases. "They power the watch." At school one day, little Johnny's teacher asks the class to use the word contagious in a sentence. Cindy raises her hand. "Yes, Cindy?" She answers, "I was at the dentist's office with my mom, and she said not to play with the toys in the waiting room because the other kids were contagious." Very good, Cindy, the teacher said. Anyone else want to try? Samantha raises her hand. Yes, Samantha. She answers, My dad tells me not to yawn because then everybody else yawns. He says yawning is contagious. Excellent work, Samantha. Very creative, the teacher praises. Okay, one more volunteer. Little Johnny raises his hand. Yes, Johnny. Well, he says, I was helping my dad in the yard last week, and we saw the neighbor painting his house. He was using a small brush, so I asked my dad, Daddy, why is he using such a small brush? And he says, I don't know, son, but it's gonna take that contagious. A guy flags down a passing police car. Ossifer, you gotta help me. My car's been stolen. Sir, are you sure it was stolen? It looks to me like you've had a bit to drink tonight. Are you sure you know where you left it? Certainly I do. Don't be ridiculous. It was right here on the end of this key. Sir, why don't you have a seat in the car and I'll take you down to the station, where they will take a report about your car. Before we do that, I'm going to have to tell you that your fly is unzipped and you're exposing yourself. You need to tuck yourself back in and zip up. Oh my God! They got my girl too! A Jets fan walks into a bar with his dog. The bartender says, Hey bud, no pets allowed in here? The man says, But wait, this is a special dog you have to turn on the game to see. When the Jets score, my dog does flips. Sure enough, when the bartender turns on the game, the Jets make a few field goals and the dog starts flipping and jumping after each kick. Wow, said the bartender, amazed. That's great. What does he do when they score a touchdown? I don't know. I've only had him for 2 years. A young monk arrives at the monastery. He is assigned to helping the other monks in copying the old laws of the church by hand. He notices, however, that all of the monks are copying from copies, not from the original manuscript. So the new monk goes to the head monk to question this, pointing out that if someone made even a small error in the first copy, it would never be picked up. In fact, that error would be continued in all of the subsequent copies. The head monk says, You make a good point, my son. He goes down into the dark caves underneath the monastery where the original manuscripts are held in a locked vault. Hours go by and nobody sees the head monk. The young monk gets worried and goes down to look for him. He sees him banging his head against the wall and wailing, We missed the R! We missed the R! We missed the R! Father, cries the young monk, what's wrong? The head monk with tears in his eyes replies, The word is celebrate.